to Recipes Galore. Now, today we're going to be making pumpkin waffles with apple compote. Now, I make this with my grandkids all the time. They love making waffles, and I thought this was a wonderful kids treat, and also adults like it too. But yesterday was National Pumpkin Spice Day, and I missed it, y'all. I missed it. So I'm making up for it today. We're gonna have some pumpkin waffles and apple compote because it's fall. You go apple picking in the fall, you get pumpkins in the fall. So we're gonna get started on our recipe. The first thing that I use is, let me see if you can see that. It is pumpkin bread. This is pumpkin bread and muffin mix. I use this. So what you're gonna need is 1 cup of the bread mix, the pumpkin bread mix, and 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And let's see, you're gonna need some baking powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, and you're going to need some half and half. You can use milk, but I like using half and half because it gives it a different texture. You're gonna need 1 egg, and that's for the waffle. Now for the apple compote, I cored some apples in half. I cored the apples, and we're gonna slice them up in a minute. And you're gonna need 3 tablespoons, I brought the bag out, of raw sugar, sugar in the raw. You're gonna need 3 tablespoons of this, and add to that a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch. So add some cornstarch, a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch to your sugar, and it looks like you're going to need some Pam or some kind of cooking spray for your waffle. And you're going to need some pumpkin spice for your apples, because you want the apples kind of taste kind of pumpkin-y to go with your pumpkin bread. And I always add pecans to my apple compote. I add pecans because who doesn't love a little crunch? And you're going to need a tablespoon of butter for your apples. Now, I work with kids, so I bought out my food coloring. We're going to make these waffles are going to be orange, just like the pumpkin. Why not? So we're going to get started. I'm going to add my cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to add my teaspoon of baking powder. Let me find my teaspoon. There we go. Add that in there. And then we're going to put our 1 cup of pumpkin mix in there. And then I'm going to use my wire whisk. I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients together. Now, I like to put a little pinch of salt in mine. You don't necessarily have to, but you can put a pinch of salt in here. That should be enough, because that all-purpose flour is kind of bland, and it doesn't have salt in it. So I put a little salt in there to kind of balance it out. Now I'm going to add my liquid ingredients. I'm going to add my egg. And this I eyeball. My half and half, I pour a little bit in, and I stir, and I make sure that it's to the right consistency. Let me show you what I have going on in my bowl. Can you see that? Now, I add a little bit at a time because I don't want it to be too thin by dumping a whole lot in there. So I add a little bit at a time and let it come to the consistency that I want it. This is what we have so far. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more because it's still not at the consistency that I want. Okay, so just add a little bit at a time until you get the consistency that you want. There we go. Now, this is what I want. This is the consistency that I want for my waffles. Make sure that it's all mixed up and good and ready to go. Okay, now we're going to add our food coloring. I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to have us some orange, some pumpkin orange waffles. There you go. We're going to start on our apples. We're just going to slice them right into our skillet. I have my little tool here. I got this from Walmart. It's a little slicer. Man, saves a whole lot of time. All I have to do is this. Uh-oh. Until one gets stuck. There we go. Okay, we'll just keep going with this one. There we go. All the apples in. That one worked perfect for me. Okay, now we have all the apples in, and we're going to put our sugar and cornstarch. We're going to pour it over the top of it. And then we're going to add some pumpkin pie spice on top. Now we're going to add some of our pumpkin pie spice. Just a couple of shakes. I'll let you see what I have in my pan so far. I have the apples and the raw sugar and the cornstarch in there. I'm going to pour my nuts on top. And I'm going to add my tablespoon of butter. There we go. Now, I'm going to turn this on to medium heat. Now, I'm going to plug my waffle maker in. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to prepare my waffle maker. I'm going to put some spray in the bottom, and in the top, I just spray a little bit, and I let it heat up, and then I kind of wipe it out a little bit. Let me put a lid on here. Put a lid on our apples, let them cook. If you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, you could use any pumpkin bread that you have. I like using this one because it is so yummy. But you can also use just plain flour, use a pancake mix, and add the pumpkin pie spice to it, and then mix it up. I start with a little cup. And I kind of just put it in there. And kind of just swirl it around so it can spread out. Now, we're gonna flip, hold on, flip it over that way. And it will let me know when it is ready. In the meantime, in between time, we are going to stir up our apples. I'm gonna let these apples cook down some more and get all nice and thick. The compote, the syrup in it get all nice and thick. These look yummy. Let me grab a plate right quick so I can put this on so we can have some good waffles. And my kids like to have waffles for breakfast, they want them for lunch, they want them for dinner. This can be a recipe that you can have any time of the day. And the light just came back on. Look at my little pumpkin. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so let me pull this out of here. Y'all like my pumpkin? Look at my little pumpkin. You're so cute. Just the right size for kids. So we're gonna make some more pumpkin while we wait on our apples to finish cooking. Pour it right there in the middle. Now if you want to fill the whole thing up, you can. But I like putting it in the middle so it looks more like a little pumpkin shape than a waffle. And if you want to be creative and create a little stem at the top, make it flow forward, you can do that too. All right, there we go. These apples smell so good. I'm going to take this other one out, and there it is, just as I said it. We're going to take this one out. See what we got here? You ready? There it is. Hang on, let me pull it down this way. There we go. And there's another pumpkin. And we have two pumpkin pancakes. One big pumpkin and one little pumpkin. So, now, hang on, let me unplug this for a second. We're going to take some of our apples, because they are ready to rock and roll. We're going to take some of our apples and pecans, and we're going to put them on top, and we'll be ready to go. And here you go. There's your pumpkin pancakes with your apple compote. You can take this and serve it as is, or you can get your favorite syrup and pour a little syrup over this. Because I don't like hold on, I'm trying to read what Nanny Shar says. In it and send them to the UK. Okay, we'll see how far they get to the UK, Nanny Shars. But as I was saying, you can put your favorite syrup over these. I know there's probably a pumpkin pie syrup that's out there. If not, you can make your own by taking just plain syrup, adding some of this to it, heat it up on the stove, add a little butter, heat it up on the stove, and then pour it across there. Yum. I've done that too before. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your pumpkin waffle with apple compote. And I hope you enjoyed today's recipe galore. I have people sending me messages over here and I can't see myself. Okay, so like I said, I hope you enjoyed recipes galore. Hold on, I have messages I'm reading. I just had to pay extra custom charges for the nanny cards and Clearly Nanny. Oh, wow. I hope it wasn't a whole lot. Kimberly says we are making those when we see you. Yes, we can make these when you come and see me, Kimberly. We can make these for sure. But as I was saying, that's it as far as this recipe is concerned. It is simple, it is quick, it's something the kids can do with you. Have fun with it, add colors. You don't have to use pumpkin. You can use banana bread mix or blueberry muffin mix or whatever the case may be. Add colors to it. Kids love that. If it's a banana, put some yellow food coloring in it. Make it a yellow banana bread, a banana waffle. Or if you're very creative, do a pancake in the shape of a banana. We're eating bananas. It's banana bread. Be creative in the kitchen. Experiment. Let your kids experiment, more importantly, and they will find a love for food and they will find a love for eating good, delicious food. Now, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for joining me on Recipes Galore. I will see you next time.